Let's see if we can get free stock music. Let's see if we can get free stock. Search. Now forget about that. That is gonna play it. So acha tuone kama itacheza. Shout out to everyone in the comments, each one. So we'll be talking about mostly about anything and everything. This is a Q&A. So if it's a Q&A, we are all open. So it's a Q&A, that means it's a conversation. So we are going to try, for you though, to try and stay inside what you call the topic of our conversations and what they are usually about. In the meantime, it's a Q&A, so we are open. So the DM is open, the questions are open, requesting is open, okay? Let's reduce this volume a little bit. You can be having the drums too loud. Sawa. So like I said, this is a, thank you. Like I said, this is an open panel. So in the meantime, I'll give you a story. I'm looking at my books because they got wet, so these were a kick in the back. So I usually put my books under a sink. And what happened is that I forgot to tighten the tap. And when I woke up the next morning, the house was flooded and my books were done. And one of the books, of course, is the book that has the notes for the blood type. So I was wondering, is the reason because we never talked about this, or what is the reason? So venye nimesema it's a Q&A, so this one can go anyway. So yeah, my books got wet. Maybe this is a reminder to write my books now and have them in digital forms. Zote zilimwagikiwa na maji. I tried to write them in the sun. It's nothing, it doesn't mean that it's anything, but it's just that that was a lot of written material that should have been turned into a book. And I hate typing, I hate using the computer to type these things. That is why. Because I just pick a pen and start writing. Na hata sioni kitu yenye tunaweza. What is this now? Self-environment. This one was for the one for the number. So it's a Q&A, like we said. So it's a Q&A. So start asking the questions. If you have any questions, if you don't have any questions, of course, we are just going to end the live and be done with the live. I know it's Jupiter, it's Thursday, it's the day for expansion, and you never know. The questions may be the things that drive us into the topic, but in the meantime, I don't feel like picking any topic in particular or talking about anything in particular. You know? Like I said, it's a Q&A. It's a Q&A. It's a Q&A. And the thing is, most of the time when I tell you it's a Q&A, you don't ask questions. But the moment I start teaching, all of a sudden you want to know something totally different from what we are talking about. And I'm starting to think that is on purpose. So I'm making this a Q&A. Shout out to my books. All it. They all go wet. They all go wet. So if you don't have any questions, we can talk about what you call okay, let me talk about this. Okay, there's a lady on TikTok who I truly admire. And can we later talk on the significance of spiritual and cultural balance? Yeah. So I don't admire her as in I have a liking for her. She's not even my type. Her name is Shiko. I think you have seen Shiko on TikTok. She's always selling stuff. She's always, hi, sasa, leo tunauza hii bag, leo tunauza hii thermos. She's very aggressive when it comes to sales. And I've been looking at the comments because though that is a very beautiful thing that she's making money, but you see me, I go beyond what I'm seeing. I go behind the scenes to understand what is this thing that I'm looking at. Because when I look at her and I see how aggressive she is when it comes to selling, mara nauza jeans. I'm talking about Chiko, his style. I remember what I said when I started this life. I said, when I mentioned her, I said, I truly admire how she works. So don't think I'm coming from a negative side. However, I know trauma when I see trauma. And a lot of people or a lot of women don't understand when they are on survival mode. But most of the time when you're on survival mode because you're trying to heal some pain. When a woman experiences what you call trauma at an early age, more so when this happens with what you call the masculine figure in her life, this usually pushes that woman into what you call the survival mode. I think I was looking at her story. She had posted, I think, a story yesterday or something on her page, which she rarely does. And in one of the clips, she was crying. She was in a car, a nice Mercedes Benz, and she was talking about, I don't know whether it's the hubby or her significant other or partner or whatever. She said, he makes me so happy. And then she was crying in some point, and she was showing her life. Okay? But when a woman has experienced trauma at a very young age, especially with the masculine figure in her life, most of the time this pushes the women into what you call the survival mode. For example, a woman who had a father who abandoned her, either physically, the father left physically, he was not home, or he was totally not present in her life, or emotionally, because your father could be there in your life, but he's never there emotionally. You have never had conversations. You have never spoken. Meaning that that father figure was never there to give you what you call the strength and support that you need to feel safe. Not as a woman, but in your feminine energy. So in your feminine energy, as a woman, you need to have a father or a father figure, physically or emotionally. Okay? Now, this can be influenced also by a controlling mother. So this controlling mother is the mother who is always shaming you. Okay? This is the controlling mother who is always teaching you not to trust men. Because there's a lot of women who, most of their relationships are based on what their mothers have taught them. And their mothers have taught them men should not be trusted at all. Or they are going to shame their girls if they're in any relationship. So what happens is that all that pain gets trapped in what you call the nervous system. And this pushes the woman to develop or to overdevelop her masculine side as a way to protect herself. Okay? So that push for the lady to be more in her masculine is a safety mechanism for her to protect herself because of what she lacked. Okay? Now, sometimes you have to look or know, like, how do I look for some signs of what you can call an overdeveloped masculine energy in a woman? And remember what I said, most of my teachings come from personal experience. Okay? Monjiro is a woman who's a lot of the times in her masculine energy. And remember what I started, this comes from the fact that their father was not physically available, was not emotionally available, na vitu kama hizo. The same when it comes to my sisters, and this is like 99% of African homesteads. Okay? So, let's say that you meet a woman, and this woman it's very rare for her to ask for help or support. Okay? I'll give an example with Munjiro. Munjiro struggles with receiving help or support, even if it's coming from you or anyone. Like, she struggles to accept to be helped. Like, you're even going to see her struggling. Maybe she's making something, she'll be struggling to cut it and everything, and I'm like, data nikushikia. So she looks at me like she's surprised, like, oh wait, oh kumbe unaweza nishikia. So namshikia, nakata ama anafanya kitu. So she struggles to receive support. Even when you support her in something, she looks surprised. Like, even if you surprise her with something, she looks surprised, like, oh, like she does not expect that's supposed to be coming through. So this makes a lot of women what you call hyper independent. They depend on themselves solely. So I've been watching Shiko on her channel, and she has this tiny man around her who she likes working with. Very loud mouth, very good for her business and everything. But when you look at her, she's hyper independent. Let's say she's selling carpets. Utaona anajaribu kutoa hizo carpets, anajaribu kuspread, shika hapo. So when you are looking at her, you can see that she has an overdeveloped masculine energy inside her. She's always in what you call decision making. She's always the leader. Kuja, hapa tuko na thamos. This is the and remember, this is for teaching purposes only. I don't have anything against her, and I'm not saying that she's doing anything wrong. Okay? This is for teaching purposes only. So, when you have what you call an overdeveloped masculine energy in a woman, these women become what you call untrusting. They are skeptical of men. So she doesn't even know why she's behaving like that, but because her masculine energy is overdeveloped. So there'll be competitions, okay? There'll be challenges. So these women start challenging the men, they start competing towards the men. They cannot let go of control. So these are the women who it's not easy to let go of whatever they're in control of. Okay? They have to micromanage everything. And what happens is that they burn out. So you're going to find that these women will be constantly stressed and they burn out. So for example, when you see her crying, that's an example of her burning out. And a lot of women are stuck in this role of being the masculine. They hate being there. Don't think that all these women you see being aggressive, working, hustling, being hawkers and everything, that they love that. No. They don't love that. They hate that they are in line queuing for a super metro or whatever to get home and cook and buy stuff and everything. Women hate that, especially since most of the women are in what you can call their feminine essence. And to be really honest, if you question all the women truly do hate to be in those roles. They hate it, they don't like it. But we are society that is not ready for these conversations. We are a society that has normalized having women go out there and work. So there was a plan, and this plan started with the Beijing nonsense, where women were being told that they are being empowered, but it was a plan to destroy the family structure in itself. And so when the women started working, okay, and thinking, oh, wait a minute, I'm bringing money home, so this is what I'm supposed to do. No, a woman is more comfortable in her feminine role. Ask any woman would like to stay home and take care of shit. The only reason that they are out there competing with the men is because they can do nothing less, because now, again, what has happened to the man? The man has been feminized. Most of the men are not in their masculine role. Most of the men don't even know the role of a man. They don't even know the role of not even a man, because you see, in this world is the only word where we talk of men and women. We should be talking of male and female. When you go outside, when you see a cow or when you see a goat, you don't say, wait, that is a man goat or that is a woman cow. What do you say? You say it's either male or female. Even when it comes to us, it should either be either male or female, not man and woman, nor should be male and female. So what are the roles of a male? Now we start defining the roles of a male, of a masculine man. What are the roles of a female? To nurture, seed, incubate, take in. Because now when we come from that line, shout out to I Am Filled with Love for the roses. Because when we come from that line, then we can, now both of us, and this has to be for men and women, we have to stop this thing of thinking that this is going to be worn from one side. It has to be both men and women, like both the masculine and the feminine, the male and the female have to decide that, wait, this is not how things are supposed to be. So how can I help you help me? How can I help you help me? How can we thrive together? How can we heal together so that we can thrive together? And it has to be a teamwork. For example, yesterday, was it yesterday? No, the day before yesterday, I went for my walk, but I took my car. I took my car and I took my dog. So I came a bunch of men waiting for their what you can call their. They have a company bus that takes them home. And one of the men lives just like 50 meters down the line, but they were there waiting for the bus. So I went to them and I said, hey, hi, are you? Because I know them. I said, hey, what's up? Hey, what are you? They're like, bah, bah, bah. Then I said, so why don't you walk? Your house is like 100 meters. Why do you have to wait for the bus? Okay, I understand the others have to go far. I understand the others have to, drive and, leave. They live a distance away from home. So, but you can just walk home. And he looked at me, and the way he responded to me was very weird. Because the way he reacted showed me that he had pain inside him. And I realized that this is a man who has a lot of pain inside him. From the way he lashed at me and it was just a common thing. I said, hey, sunaishi tu pale, yeah, you can just walk, it's 100 meters. Why do you have to wait for the company bus to walk, to drive you? And the way he lashed out me showed me that he was having a lot of pain inside him. And immediately I knew that this is something that we have to talk about. So, some of the relationships that are most healthy do not come from perfection. No one should ever tell you that there's perfection in everything. So these relationships are usually crafted, let me use the word crafted, are crafted from the rawness of two imperfect souls. So you need two souls who are imperfect. Everybody has got their wounds. Everybody has got whatever the pain is coming from. And when you bring the two together, you decide that you are going to choose each other every single day. So it will never be about failing. It is never about making mistakes, that is normal. But it's about getting back together, learning, or growing together. So what happens is that when we don't work like this, a lot of the men take this pain home and they try to suppress the pain that they are feeling, or hiding it, or hiding the pain. And the more a man hides their pain, the more a man tries to suppress the pain, the fact that maybe they are suffering from father wounds, mother wounds, the more the woman feels it, or the more your spouse is going to pick it up. So when you start masking your pain, it becomes an addiction. Most of the men who are stuck in choking the monkey or masturbation as a vice, that comes from masking the pain. So the pain that is masked becomes an addiction. So because look at it like this: since you cannot stop the pain, since you cannot stop yourself from feeling the pain, you also cannot stop yourself from jacking off. So it seems like the pain that you're avoiding is hidden from you, but it's not hidden from your partner. It's not hidden from, especially the people you're intimate with. It's not even hidden. So intimacy goes beyond. Intimacy goes all the way to the children and the family. So that thing that is unresolved, and this at this particular moment I'm talking to the men now, that thing that is unresolved, what happens is that eventually it takes over and you start hurting the ones that are closest to you. And this will happen whether you like it or whether you don't like it. You don't have to like it or not like it. Whatever unresolved pain that you have, if you're not taking care of it, you will hurt the ones that are closest to you. This will be the people, places, and things, situations and circumstances, all the way down to your pets, your businesses, na vitu kama hizo. So I remember there's a time I got a call on someone who's truly sabotaging his own business. So he has lots of businesses happening to the point he doesn't even know how his business is operating. And he has a multiple line of what you can call girlfriends, multiple lines of them. But what he's forgetting is that the pain he's not dealing with is now what is manifesting in his daily life. And his business is going to suffer. Those closest to him are going to suffer. This will be the family, the children, the friends, the associates, na vitu kama hizo. So when a choice is offered to any man, you should be asking your question, or you should be asking yourself this question: do I resolve what needs to be resolved, or do I run away from everything that comes my way? So when things comes your way, when trials and tribulations or things that need your attention comes your way, are you going to resolve them so that you can bring harmony to yourself and your relationship? Or are you going to continue avoiding and letting that pain damage the ones that you love? And remember what we said, the ones that you love can be people, places, and things, situations and circumstances that surround you. Now, when you decide to resolve and work on these problems, you're offering yourself freedom. And when you decide not to work on them, it is the opposite. So, real freedom is not found in suppressing the pain. It's in embracing the pain. When you embrace the pain, I was abused when I was growing up. And this has translated into the decisions that I have been making. We live our patterns. So where I am in life, I'm living a pattern that came from my father or my mother, the parental figures. So I'm living their pattern. I may be better because maybe today you have the money, in quotes, or what you think it's success in today's life. However, you are still going to live your parents' partner, what you call patterns, in one way, shape, or another. So you're going to find that, wait a minute, despite everything that I have, I'm still feeling empty. But for a man, in order for you to fully embrace that pain, which is your pain, for you to be truly free, you must allow yourself to grieve. You have to grieve. For you to fully embrace your pain, for you to be truly free, you must allow yourself to grieve. So when you talk of grief, or when you talk of grieving, we talk about crying, or like when people go to, maybe when people have suffered a loss, that is the only time that people will grieve. Okay? But you see, a man's grief is not his weakness. It is the symbol of his heart. When a man is grieving, that is a symbol of his heart. It is a getaway from his true strength. A lot of men will only grieve their losses. I remember there was a man, now that I'm speaking about this, I should check on him. It's been, I think, 2 years now. He lost his daughter. And I've never seen a man in so much pain like I saw that man. That man was crying almost every day of his life over the loss of his daughter. Reason being, the daughter died because of negligence on the part of the parents. It was an accident that happened in the house and everything. And as men, we don't need to just grieve by letting go of those losses. We don't just need to grieve because we lost something. We can also grieve by letting go of the pain we have been holding on for so long. For example, I have a painting. I'm going to show you the painting. No, it's actually not a painting. It's a nail and threads art that I got. And when I took the picture, because I took the picture of myself that day and I sent it to someone to make the thing for me, I was grieving. I was in a lot of pain. But I was not grieving over something. I had not lost anything. Nothing. I had not lost anything physical to say that I was crying because I had lost this thing. No. My grieving, I only came to realize later that I was grieving because I was letting go of the pain that I had been holding on for so long. I had so much pain that I was holding on to from a young age. And I was crying because I was finally letting go of this pain. I remember this happened after I had been ordained as a shaman. Okay? So what happened is that after going to all these things that we used to go for the culture and everything, and things were not even working, one day I woke up and I remember I had my headphones on and I was figuring out what to listen to. And all of a sudden I was like, I don't even need to listen to anything. Why do I always have to listen to something to uplift my spirit or anything? So they said, I'm going to have the headphones, but I'm not going to listen to anything. Let me listen to myself. So I said, I want the music to come from inside me. And instead of music, I started crying. But I realized I was not even ashamed of it. I was not crying out of shame. I realized, wait a minute. I'm not even embarrassed to be crying. And I was home alone. I was like, I'm not even embarrassed to be crying. I felt different. It's like I was crying for my heart. It was different. It was like I was grieving over the state of my heart. It's like I was grieving for my strength. I don't know if that makes sense. It was like I was crying for the strength that I had. I was crying for my heart as a symbol. I don't know if that makes sense or whatever. So I realized that there was a pain I was letting go that I was been holding on for so long. And that is the time that I decided, wait a minute, from now on, I will no longer care about what my father thinks of me or anybody else in that matter. Like at that particular moment, I was like, there's no shame. I'm not weak. This crying is very weird because I haven't cried like this, but it's a cry of strength. And then I realized, wait a minute. So is this the same kind of grieving that we witness in their movies? Like when a movie is happening and you are down, beaten, bruised, almost giving up, and then you get up in your tears and you do something extraordinary. And I was like, no, wait a minute. There must be a reason they do this in the movies. So I booked a consultation with one of my mentors. She's very expensive. So I booked a consultation, 1 hour, 16,000. So in my mind, I was like, I have to go and understand what this is because this is something big. Because I remember I was supposed to put tires in my car the next day, and I was waiting to get 6 more thousand niende niweke taya miguu zote ine. But then I took that money and I went to Runda for a 1 hour consultation with a NLP expert. So this stands for neuro linguistic whatever. So I went, found her. We have worked together before. So she's like, Richard, this consultation is for you. I said, yeah. She said, you are actually paying me. Yet you have also mentored me for this. I said, I want you to do this, but I want to be very vulnerable with you because this shit happened to me and I want to get to understand it. Like, okay, let's have some coffee first. She smokes. So she took a cigarette. So I was also mentoring her to the point she stopped smoking. So you see, it's each one teach one. So this is someone who's getting very highly paid for businesses, people like the Oracle businesses, consultant and everything. Her business consultations is usually for 50,000. She starts from $500, 30 minutes consultation and everything. So she's like, okay, what is it? And I said, you know what? My consultation is very different today. I don't want you to give me a solution. I just want to cry right here in front of you because I know that you love me truly. As a mentor, I also know that you honor me and respect me in all places of life and everything as a friend. I said, are you serious? I said, that's all I need. She said, okay, let me sit here, enjoy my coffee, and I'm going to let you cry. And of course, it didn't happen. And she has a policy where once you pay, the money doesn't come back. But I left with one lesson. I knew that if you grieve in front of the woman who truly loves you and honors you, she will celebrate you and cherish you. Because the awkward moment that I shared with my mentor back then made her celebrate me and cherish me. Because after that, she called me and she said, you know, I'm quitting smoking. I said, finally. She's like, no, you actually made me quit smoking. I said, what do you mean? She said, you see, the fact that you came all the way, paid to be vulnerable, healed me. I said, is that what it takes? She said, yes. Then I said, then you owe me 16,000 then. As a consultation back to me. So she asked me, so what lesson did you take for that? We almost spent like 3 hours at her place. I said, my lesson that I took from that experience without you telling me is this, that if a man grieves in front of heart-led men who are led by the heart, they are going to respect you and follow you. And so as men, you have to allow yourself to grieve Because when you grieve, you are releasing what is no longer you. And you're opening yourself up to what you call doors to the true you. Who are you? You are unlocking what you call your deeper emotional freedom. You are unlocking your self-mastery. You are unlocking your resilience. The reason I'm speaking about it like this is because, you see, having been in culture for so long and me digging into a culture, not to love and enjoy the culture as is, but looking for the faults in our culture, I've come to discover that a lot of this nonsense that men don't cry, be a man, was actually something that we didn't have in our own culture. Because when you look at the African culture, I've found that there are African cultures when someone did something bad, the whole African people would come and surround that person who had done something terrible, and they'll start saying affirmations to that child or person as a group chant. They start telling that person they are beautiful, you are amazing, whatever happened was not you, you fell, but now you can rise and walk. So when I look at our Kikuyu culture now, so I'm coming back to our Kikuyu culture. When I go back to our Kikuyu culture and I'm looking at, especially the what you call the proverbs, I've come to realize that our language has been taught, and our language is one of the, or what you're calling culture is cultivated from a cult, that our culture has actually been designed to keep us in victimhood. If your culture is not teaching you as a man, grieving as a tribute to the depth of your connection and experiences, because when you are grieving, that is a way of saying thank you for what could have been. You are falling. And now after the grieving, you are creating the space for what is meant to be. Because grief can become one of our greatest teachers. But you have to allow it. You have to allow it. Okay? So we say this is a Q&A, and you made me teach now, and I didn't even want to teach. Let me see if you have been asking any questions. Say this is a Q&A. No one was asking the questions. So we jumped right into teaching. So let me go to the questions now. I don't like teaching a lot. Sometimes when I'm teaching, I go too deep. Someone is saying, good morning, I'm new here. What happens? This is Wangoi Licious. Wangoi, the delicious one. So people in the chat, you know how we do. You can communicate in the chat. You can fill in on what is happening. Can we later talk on the significance of spiritual and cultural balance? Coming to that. Yeah, we have 17 more minutes. There are those mothers who hate seeing their daughters with a man. They want it to be them. Of course, jealousy from the mother's part is part of it. Shout out to Gadoni for the big hearts. I'm in that state too. Dayo Nyoba. Nyoba Dayo, that is Wanja. Any goal achieved is a noisy celebration. What a man can do, a woman can do. Pauline Money, Life Path 8, want to be pampered and loved, but men aren't there. Shout out to, oh, you're communicating, you're talking. I'm filled with gratitude. Shout out to gratitude. Thank you for the gifts with ability to be vulnerable with literature. Okay, so there's no question, so you're just commenting. I thought it was questions. Life path number 6, meaning. So 6 is you are here to be paid attention to, or you are here to pay attention to something, or you are here to create something. So 6 rhymes with sex. So the energy of number 6 is creating something. So you are here to either, whatever you are doing, whatever you do as a gift and talent, you have to pay attention to that, or make people pay attention to that thing, or pay attention to you, or you are here to create something new. Okay, we can start with life path number 1. As a life path number 1, this is about individuality. Okay? So you are here to start something unique and original, something that is just you. You know, like how Virgin Atlantic, what do you call this guy of Microsoft, Apple, that kind of guy. So that is the energy of a life path number 1. You are here to be one of a kind, start something that you have not seen before. Okay? Positive side of a life path number 1 is that you can begin something that is unique, never seen before. The negative side to that is that you can be too much in your ego. You are like God, you are jealous, and all that energy. Life path number 2, you are here to relate, or you are here to be relatable. The negative side to that is that you can be gullible. People can use you. Life path number 3, you are here to relate to your environment. So everything you do has to be with people, places, and things, the external. Okay? The negative side to your side can be, you can be a know-it-all. You know everything. Number 4 is thought. Now that you have asked that, remember, every life path number has 2 of a kind. For example, if your life path number 2, it means on one side you have life path number 1, and on the side you have life path number 3. So as a life path number 2, you are supposed to use your individuality, life path number 1, relate it to yourself, number 2. You're supposed to relate it as number 2. You're here to relate, okay? Then you are relating it to what? The surroundings, the number 3. Now this goes a little bit now deeper into life paths for those now who are ahead of the game on that. So for the people who don't even understand the life path number, this is not for you. But I just felt that it's a good thing to include that. For example, we have people, let's say you're at life path number 5. That means on one side you have life path number 6. On the other side you have life path number 4. So you have to start with 4. Okay? So you're supposed to bring your thought, your life path number 5, a feeling. You're supposed to be giving something a feeling, a seal. So you bring a thought, you're supposed to give it a seal, have a feeling about it, and then go to the 6. Make it be paid attention to, or you pay attention to that thing heavily. Now this is a little bit advanced when it comes to life path numbers. Someone is saying life path number 11. So life path number 11, so you have 11, 22, and 33. These are called like master numbers. Not to say that you're a master number or you feel like you have like superpowers, but what it's saying is that you have the same energy like twice, is the repetition. So if your life path number 11, okay, that means you're taking the energy of 1, individuality, and you're relating it again to you as an individual. You get it? Life path number 8, you are here to be to shine over something, like a multiverse or a universe. Or remember, 8 is infinity. Is that loop. Okay, is that loop. You are going down to up there. So life path number 8, you are here to be is like an overseer. You are here like what's the best definition for life path number 8? I'm trying to make it make sense for you. You're here, you're supposed to be spending time in 7. What is 7? You're supposed to be a judge over something, or you are being judged about something. So you're supposed to oversee or spend a lot of time in something that you are judging to be true, or you are being judged that is not true, and you make it, or you come up with your own wisdom as to why that is what is supposed to be. For example, Zuckerberg has created the metaverse, which you guys, you are far behind. The metaverse ilikuja, amujaingia metaverse, amujainunua duka huko, you have not invested there. Again, Africans, again it will be too late. By the time you get on metaverse, this is going to happen by 2025. Because we are slowly switching. By 2030 tutakuwa tumeingia the new world. By 2031 tutakuwa fully into the new world. Now they are busy setting up the new world for themselves. They are busy with AI. They are busy with all these things. Africans, you are busy with religion and building churches. And again, you are still behind. It's like Africans, you always like being on the tail. I was on Metaverse 2 years ago. I think it's 2 years ago. Yeah, the last time I was on Metaverse was 2 years ago, and there were no Africans on Metaverse. Invest in these things. Buy the Metaverse gear. Now that they have tried it and tested it, invest into that gear, bring it into the country, learn the Metaverse. That is the world we are going into. Wachani kukuanga saa zote mnakuja last. Buy into the Metaverse. Go into the Metaverse. Buy land inside the Metaverse. It's virtue. Buy land inside the Metaverse. So in future, when ndio utakuwa unarentisha, mtu atakuwa anakuja, unataka nini? Duka. Sawa. Duka yangu napeana na goodwill. Remember, it's virtue. Napeana na goodwill, na rent itakuwa hivyo. People will rent spaces. Stop being left behind, Africans, because you have this mentality that someone lied to you that you are great. But when you look outside, you don't seem to be great. Everything around you doesn't look so great. So ask yourself, who lied to you to divert your attention so that you don't pay attention? You are in the real world. You have the internet. You have the computer you are watching me with. So jump into that. Now back to the life path number. Yeah, activate your subconscious mind. You're welcome. Is knowing a partner's life path number important before starting a relationship? No, you can start a relationship with anyone. Anyone. You can go deciding to choose people because of their life path numbers. Because actually there's strength in you if you can cope with that. If you can learn the life path number and now work around that. That's a strength in itself. For example, I'm a Taurus. Okay? Now, directly behind my feet is my opposite sign, which is Scorpio. Now, Monjiro is a Scorpio. Scorpios are narcissistic. Okay? Yet, instead of looking at that like, wait a minute, this is a Scorpio, directly opposite me, I look at that like opposites attract. Okay? Opposites attract. So I look at that like, if she's a fixated water sign, I'm the fixated earth sign, stability, and all that nonsense. I don't have emotions as a Taurus. Okay? I struggle with emotions. I feel nothing. Sometimes I feel nothing. I remember during the post-election violence, they had an ambulance ya Kenya Red Cross. Hakuna mtu alikuwa anataka kudrive. The people were too gross by the blood and everything. I'm like, ni nini? Kibera. Tuende nayo. So it was gross. People used to, unaenda mnaokota mkono ya mtu. So people were going for counseling. They came to me, they like, you need to go for counseling. I said, for what? Unajua unafaa kuenda counseling. Unajua umeona vitu. I'm like, vitu gani nimeona? But I didn't understand is the fact that I don't have emotions. I have to balance myself to feel some emotions. Now, on the other hand, Monjiro is deeply fixated. She's a water sign, Scorpio. So she'll be deep in her emotions. You may be feeling she's in emotion or no. You don't even know it. You can go to the water. Inside the water you find an iceberg. Ulikuwa unafikiria una swim kwa maji, ukute kumbe kwa hii maji kuna iceberg. Highly emotional. All of a sudden, the water is boiling. So she's a fixated water sign. So I look at it like this. If I can deal with this, okay, then it means that, look at it like this. Nyambura. What is Nyambura? She's a fixated fire sign. She's a Leo. So in my house, we have everything fixed. Earth sign, fire sign, water sign. Wait a minute. Was our firstborn a fixated air sign? I'll confirm with the dates again with her. So, to the point, these signs or the people, the partners that you're looking at, like you are supposed to be a certain way, it shouldn't be like that. You can work with anything. Remember, in the zodiac, the 360, you have all these traits also. You being, let's say, let me give you an example. I'm an earth sign, yeah, a Taurus. But during the time that I was in my mother's belly forming, we went through all the signs. Before I was born, we went through all the signs inside my mother. Remember, that is an influence like the weather. So still, I went through all the signs and related with them before I came out at Taurus. And now this even goes deeper when you want to understand what you call the essential salts. I'm going to ask you a very important question, and a lot of you know I'm not even going to think about it like this. Think about it like this, okay? Animals, ng'ombe, mbuzi, the animals in the mountains, the goats in the forest, na ndovu na everything. Do they eat salt every day? No, they don't eat salt. Human beings are the only people who eat salt every day. You cook salt every day. Salt is supposed to be licked. Licked. When unaonanga wanyama wanaenda wanalamba chumvi, but wanakula chakula bila chumvi, but wanalamba chumvi. Salt is supposed to be licked, not cooked and eaten. Okay? So someone came up with that idea to be cooking and eating salt every day. But there's a reason I'm coming to this. So each zodiac sign has got their own specific essential salts, or what you call ukienda Health U utazipata. When you go to Health U, you are going to find them. They are called electrolytes, or a lot of nonsense. So nisomwetaga monyo. Each sign has got its own specific salt that you're supposed to be licking or taking as a supplement. When in the beginning, Aries, or what you call Jehovah is the worship of between 6 a.m. and 12 a.m. Anything after 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., you're not supposed to use the word Jehovah anymore, because Jehovah just means Aries, Taurus to Gemini, the morning part. Kwa hivyo ukisikia mtu akiomba akisema Jehovah God and afternoon, ajui venye anasema ni kuropokwa tu, ni regurgitation, ni lost tribe, or what you call the low hanging fruit. So Yahweh is between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. That is why the Kikuyus are going to face the east. You don't even know why you are facing the east or what that energy is. That is the energy of Yahweh, or the energy of spring, or the energy of daybreak, or the energy of a beginning, or the energy of planting the day. Now, in the Bible, this is Yahweh. Then, when the sun moved into or the second house, or Baal, or Canaan, what happened? When Lot, they were leading Sodom and Gomorrah, this is Gemini, they were leaving Sodom and Gomorrah. So they were leaving Gemini. What did Lot do? Lot looked back into Taurus. What happened? She became a pillar of salt. What salt? She became the salt that you're supposed to be eating as a Taurus. So each sign has got its own salt that is supposed to be leaking monyo. Na sijaambia msikule mchanga and then mkule mchanga. Okay, go and eat mchanga. Juu mmezoea, enda ukule chumbi juu mmezoea. But when you want to go with the truth, ama ukitaka kujua hizi vitu, then utaanza kuadjust. You are going to start understanding why it is better udry maganda ya mandizi mbichi, you pound it, you add to your food as monyo. Because of their diet, okay? Kuna mtu anasema ati salt is healthy, sugar is the enemy. Aliambiwa hivyo. So yeye anajua venye aliambiwa, unajua. So whatever I'm saying is not making sense. Salt is healthy. Yaani nimekuambia salt ni healthy. Nimekuuliza an example. Look at animals that are more healthy than you. Hakuna animal inadungangwa vaccine. Hakuna animal iko na kaswende. Hakuna animal iko na ukimwi. Hakuna animal iko na cancer. Sasa ndio umeanza ujinga ya kudunga wanyama nini mashindano huku. Before they didn't, God did not create the animals to deserve any. So all these things are created. The veterinary department is created to make people millionaires and billionaires for nothing. So no animal eats salt every day. They leak salt when it's necessary. Wewe unapikanga chumvi kila siku. And I want you to show me in the Bible where you started with salt. I want you to go to creation and show me salt in creation. I also want you to go back into your Bible and show me bread in creation and show me wine in creation. They were man-made. Bread is man-made. Wine is man-made. Salt. Okay? You have to go and lick. You're not supposed to be eating it every day. And you're not even talking about the salt. You unakulanga. Hii si chumvi unakulanga ya hapa. Hii si chumvi. This is a plan. But it's a plan beyond you. But we endelea kukula chumvi. Mimi sijakwambia usikule chumvi. And that is why I said, I'm not telling you not to eat salt. I'm just teaching. Okay? Wewe ukitaka kukula chumvi, enda ukule chumvi. Mimi sijakwambia usikule chumvi. I also eat salt. I season my food with salt. Si ati juu nasema hivyo sikulangi. I'm just telling you where it's coming from. Let me show you in the Bible that bread is man-made. According to the Bible, did man make bread? Sianze wewe. Actually, I can even tell you the book it's in. So you can go and read for yourself. Let me go to. But usomangi hizi vitabu. I shouldn't even be telling you this because you're not going to. No, stop confirming. I don't want to listen to that music. Si ulipause. So uliona upause. To continue listening. Si ulipause. Si ukanda hiyo pause yako. Let me show you. Go and read the book of. Is it Maccabees? Go and read what you call the lost writings of Jacob's 12 sons. This is the testament of the 12 patriarchs. But of course, where's the
Testaments of the 12 Patriarchs.
Go and listen to this.
Translated by R.H. Charles. Read by Christopher Glenn. The Testament of Reuben, the firstborn son of Jacob and Leah.
So you have to go and listen to the testaments of these children, what you call the 12 sons of Jacob. Jacob is not a man. Jacob was not an actual man. Jacob is a virtue and principle that you have inside you. Jacob is a thought form. So go and read about the 12 sons of Jacob, uanze na Reuben. Reuben is not a man. My father alikuwa anaitwa Reuben. I don't know who gave him that name, Reuben. Reuben is not a man. Reuben has got its own meaning. For example, when you go and listen to Jacob's 12 son,
the copy of the Testament of Reuben.
This is Reuben
Even
now.
the commands which he gave his sons before he died in the 125th year of his life.
Now, 125 years of his life is not talking about he lived for 125 years. We are talking of degrees of the zodiacs. Okay? We know about 120 degrees. That is called a trine. A trine. Okay? A trine is 120 degrees. So, that is a gift. So, ukisikia ni 125, unafaa kujua what angle is that. So, this is Reuben. He's giving advice to his sons, his descendants. He's coming up with a virtue and principle. Sasa hapo ndio utaenda ukute those things zinakuambia sasa. So, ujue bread was man-made, wine was man-made. You have to understand that GMO haikuanza saa hii. Okay? The first GMO, the first vaccine that you received from the Bible in the form of bread and wine. That is why in the Catholic Church you have bread and wine. Because bread is yeast. Wine has got yeast. And that is the first hormones. So the first hormones you injected into your body before when we were Depo-Provera and all that other nonsenses and hormones you have been put, the first hormones you put in your body was bread and wine. That is why it's in the Bible. That is the first time you started GMOing yourself. My wine, Hibiscus Royale, has got no yeast. Why? Because yeast is a hormone. So I'm not going to make wine that has got yeast. Okay? Let me show you. Is yeast a hormone? So, let me tell you something. When a woman is having a hormonal imbalance, what happens to her? She gets a yeast infection. Okay? When a woman is having an hormonal imbalance, she gets a yeast infection. And that yeast infection is fluctuation. So when a woman is having fluctuation in her estrogen, she has an overgrowth of yeast as a hormone. Eventually that becomes a yeast infection. When women hormones starts changing, that is when they get a yeast infection. Sijui kama una combine yeast na bread ama sijui, I don't know. When a woman's hormones are unbalanced, she gets a vaginal yeast infection. What causes high yeast? Say a woman is taking antibiotics, she was going through something, amechukua antibiotics, amekula, ametumia birth control, amekuwa overweight, amekuwa na some bacteria or something. What happens? She gets a yeast infection. So I'm telling you, the first hormone GMO human beings put in themselves is yeast, found in bread and wine, found in your church. There can never be a government before a church. Religion created a government. Any form of a government is a form of religion because there has to be a following. Okay? So, Lena, shout out to Lena Moreri. Lena here says is here to send me your number. So, my number has been pinned there. Shout out to Lena. Beautiful Lena. Beautiful says to beautiful women in the space. So, that's it. So, that was a beautiful. So, I have to go now. My live will be from 8 to 9:30. It's already 9:38. So, see you the next live. This will be Leo hour. So you have to know what Leo hour is. Leo hour will be around 2. So from 2 to 4, I'll be back with the afternoon live. That will be my night time or my moon time. I'm a moon in Leo. So my moon was in fixated Leo sign, fire sign. I'm a fixated earth sign. My daughter, Leo sign, sunshine, moon in Taurus. I give birth to myself. That's a direct descendant of my feeling. Ni sawa? Ciao, ciao.